Good morning everyone. Today I am here with the chapter Sole Proprietorship and Hindu Undivided Family Business. Session 1. In this chapter, we will basically focus on the meaning and features of both these Sole Proprietorship and Hindu Undivided Family Business. We will go as per our ICSE syllabus. So first of all, I would like to explain the meaning of sole proprietorship. What does the sole term suggest? Sole means single and proprietorship is ownership, that is single ownership. The business which is owned, financed and controlled by a single person is called sole proprietorship. The owner of this kind of business is called a proprietor. So this much only you need to know. That means a business which is run and controlled by a single person is called sole proprietorship, and the person who is engaged in this type of business is known as proprietor. Next I move on to the features of sole proprietorship. First is single ownership. A sole proprietorship is wholly owned by one individual who is the supplier of the total capital that is invested in the business. It is either from his own wealth or from borrowed funds, either from his friends, relatives or any financial institution such as banks. Second, one-man control. The proprietor alone takes all the decisions pertaining to the business. He is not required to consult anybody. Ownership and management is completely vested in the same person. Next is no profit sharing. The sole proprietor is alone entitled to all the profits and losses. He bears the complete risk and there is nobody to share his profit and loss. Next is unlimited liability. The proprietor is personally liable for all the debts of business. In case the assets are insufficient to meet the debts, the personal property of the proprietor can be attached. Small size. The scale of operation of this kind of business is very small. A sole trader can arrange limited funds and managerial ability. Therefore, the area of operation is limited. No legal formalities to start this kind of business, or when this kind of business gets dissolved, there is no legal formality required. So I hope till here you have understood. Next, I move on to the meaning of Hindu Undivided Family Business. This kind of business is owned and managed by the members of a joint Hindu family. It is governed by Hindu Succession Act. The oldest member of this business is generally called Karta. It is governed by Hindu Succession Act and created by the law of succession. That means if this kind of business is run by the grandfather, it will be inherited by his father and then the grandson and so on. The joint Hindu family form of business is one in which the family possesses some inherited property and the share of ancestral property is inherited by the male member from his father, grandfather and great-grandfather. So it goes on from generation to generation. Next we move on to the features of joint Hindu family business. First is membership. A person becomes a member in the family business by virtue of his birth, if he is born in that family who is already engaged in this kind of business, then he becomes the member of that business. In this business, no formal agreement is necessary between the family members. The membership is restricted to 3 successive generations, that is, grandfather, father and son. Only male members can be co-partners. A female relative of a deceased male co-partner will have a share after the death of the co-partner. Which means, suppose anyone, like suppose the mother dies, the father dies and the mother becomes the co-partner or the member of that kind of business. So in case the male member dies, the female member takes the place of male member. There is no limit on the number of members in this kind of business. Next, we move on to management. The management of joint Hindu family business is rested in the Karta. The Karta may, however, associate other members to assist him in the management of family business, and the members will be from within his family. Liability, the third point. The liability of the Karta is unlimited. The liability of other members is limited to the extent of their share in the property of the family business. So every member is having certain share in the family business. According to their share, the liability, their liability is there. Right to account. Co-partners are not entitled to inspect the accounts of the business. However, a co-partner who is leaving the family business can demand accounts from the Karta. If any one of the member wants to leave the business, then he can demand the accounts from the head member, that is the Karta. Next, dissolution. Joint Hindu family business is not dissolved on the death of the co-partner. It comes to an end when all the members notify that they are not members of the joint Hindu family business. That means when all the members agree that they don't want to continue with the business, in that case only the joint Hindu family business comes to end. It gets dissolved. I think you all have understood the meaning and the features. Please read the chapter for your reference. Thank you.